I'm Dr. Felice Cellini, and I'm so blessed and grateful to be in recovery. This is our Thursday evening Why Wait for Recovery community meeting. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. My name is Haiti, and welcome to our weekly meetup, our friends getting together to discuss recovery. So anyone who's joining us for the first time, welcome. Tonight we're discussing life beyond the scale, and we have so many people who join us from so many different places. People either step into the room here in Davie in this beautiful, stunning new location, or else they join us online in our virtual waiting room, which you can access anywhere that you got Wi-Fi. You can hop into the room. People also watch us on YouTube, Google Plus, in so many different places. So if you are struggling, just had weight loss surgery, or thinking about weight loss surgery, just got out of rehab, are going to rehab, we really are the next step, because I'm a food addict, drug addict in recovery who had bariatric surgery.
And I'm a drug addict, alcoholic, anorexic in recovery. Welcome everybody. And you guys, Why Wait for Recovery is just a community of peeps that get together. We're not affiliated with any other association or aid groups. We're just a group of people that get together and talk about our addiction, our strengths, our struggles, and our recovery. We talk about our challenges, and mostly we talk about our solutions of what we found worked for us. And we're glad that you guys are all here.
Right, and this is just something, you know, people have different things that they found work for them, and you've been doing this a long time. You came up with an amazing workbook, and we've got great insights from Felice as well. So one of the questions and one of the discussions we've been having this week is that you know, very often we sit and we think, what will, you know, maybe what I'm thinking or what I say isn't that important, or it's not, you know, I'm not saying it properly, or maybe I shouldn't say it, or what happens if I don't say it. And we spend so much time in our head that we either lose the opportunity or we speak ourselves out of something. And is that really our addiction speaking?
Yeah, and so what that is actually is our ego speaking. And so when we talk about ego, which is super important, we talk about what I think Bonnie's opinion is of me. Not that I have my own opinion of myself, but what I feel like, Haiti, what your opinion is of me. And so if I say something and it doesn't come out the right way, or I don't say it grammatically correct, or I say something that you disagree with, maybe you won't like me, and maybe you won't want to listen to me, and maybe you won't care about me. And I'm going to tell you guys, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. So what somebody else's opinion of you is about them. It's not about you. And everything that you need to talk about or talk through or work on is important. You guys, we're all important. You know, we're all pretty much so the same, right? We're here, we're doing our best to do our best. That's the part that's important. As long as you're speaking from your heart and what you're saying is about your true self, about your authentic self, I can guarantee you not only perhaps might you get some help, but you might be helping somebody else by reaching out. So even if we get out of our own head and just say, hey, maybe I'm gonna share this, and maybe Ange does feel the same way. And maybe she's gonna have some comfort when we talk about this. So let's stop thinking about ourselves and what other people think of us, and start thinking about being our own true authentic selves and getting well together, because that's what this community is here for. It's to get well together, not to worry about what your opinion, Kim, is of me.
You know, and that authentic self really comes with being honest. You know, when we step into honesty and we make ourselves vulnerable and we share that stuff that makes us feel shameful and guilty, and those secrets that we swore we'd never for some reason share with someone else or speak about, those are the things that really keep us sick. You know, and it's taken me a long time to reach a stage, and I'm still a work in progress. I mean, I stepped into the rooms really, really late. So my head and my thoughts follow me all the time, and my thoughts generally tend to go, and my ego tends to take me to the negative, as that argumentative side of me that starts with that no and you wrong and I'm right, and all those arguments of I'm not worth it and I'm not worthy and all those kinds of things. So I've been working on a challenge with myself, and the challenge is the more my head starts telling me no, because my head's given me really bad advice. You know, half of my head is trying to sell something that the other half is still trying to buy. You know, it's like one of those things. So my challenge now is really, when it starts saying no is the time when I really start doing the opposite, that I know is healthy. So when it says don't talk, don't go out, don't be around people, start isolating, using maybe a good idea, all these thoughts that I go through, I started challenging myself to start speaking up. And it doesn't need to be to everybody or anybody. It could just be someone I'm comfortable with, or posting in our online community, or whatever that looks like, but just to step out of that space for a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, a good thing too, you guys, is we could always follow our gut, right? And so when we're deciding to do something, if I decide not to go to a meeting tonight, not to tune in, and I start making all of these excuses about why I really don't need to, and then I get that little bit of a stomach ache, I'm probably doing something that my authentic self wouldn't do, right? And so we could pretty much listen to those cues that our bodies give us as far as that goes. And understand too that when we first step into recovery, you guys, you know, first we step into abstinence, then we step into recovery so that we can stay clean, and so that we can get some happy on. And as we're doing that, we're going to go through a whole bunch of different feelings, and we're going to learn to be honest with ourselves so that we can be honest with others. I know that there was somebody in the community that actually reached out, right? Because we have this private community, What's Eating You, and we have that for you guys so that you can reach out and talk about what is making you scared, right? And have other people step in or not step in or whatever, but at least so that you can say what you need to say and be heard and see if you can get some help. And so really that's what we're here for.
Right, so we are friends in recovery. I mean, this is really, the goal is just to spend time together, discuss our challenges, discuss what's happened, where we at. And people said, someone asked me, you know, the topic that we have, do we have to stick to the topic?
We never stick to the topic, ever. You know, I don't even know what the topic is about
tonight. Okay, so wherever your heart is and wherever it takes you is the stuff that you can speak about. And should we do a quick check-in?
I think we should do a quick check-in. So how about if we start up there and go around? So Laura, you're on, baby. Hi, Laura, how are you? Hi.
Hi.
What up, girl?
So, interesting. You know how we talk about how sometimes the universe delivers for us things we can't do for ourselves, right? And something recently, like that I've realized more than ever that I have to get through my thick skull is that the world, I really don't have control over other people, and other people's responses to me really has nothing to do with me.
I heard that somewhere.
Huh?
I heard that somewhere. Yeah, I've heard somebody say that actually.
Yeah, maybe you have. Yeah. So, because the interesting thing was yesterday, I grew up in a family in which I took on all the responsibility. I had a mentally ill mother that I've been estranged with for 20 years and haven't spoken with in 10. And yesterday, my crazy mother called me, right, to be nice and crazy. And it was really interesting, actually, because I felt like I was able to distance myself from what she was saying and what was going on. And I could see that, yeah, it really never had anything to do with me. Like, it never did. You know?
So you know that what you're saying, because we know each other, and you know that what you're saying, especially for you, is huge. It's a huge step forward for you. And understanding that your mom shows up the way that she shows up, and there's nothing that you could do about that. You know, our crazies are attached to the people that we were or are closest to, right? And especially for us, the people that brought us up. And we want to be accepted, and we want to be loved, and we want to be cared for, and we want to be spoken to nicely. And we're not in control of that, no matter who that person is. But we are in control of us, right?
Right.
Right. And we talk about, you know, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Right? She's probably doing the best that she can do, which has nothing to do with you. And to understand that the way that I behave has nothing to do with you when you and I are in a relationship. That's something very, very difficult to do, and something that we'll all work on consistently. And I see Jessica. Jessica, you're shaking your head. And so Jessica, remember my coffee comment? And everybody like got all freaked out. And it didn't have anything to do with anybody except for me, right? There was something that was on Facebook, and it said something like, no, my posts aren't about you, but if the shoe fits, tie that bitch up and walk around in it all day. Like something like that. I'm gonna put it up on our site because it was so hysterical. If you take it personally, that's about you. What I say, how I present, if I like you or don't like you, is about me.
Right.
Laura, you can be kind to me and I can dislike you. You could be mean to me and I could like you. The only thing you're responsible for is you showing up and doing your best to do your best. And did you find, and I'm sure that you did find, but you found you had this conversation with your mom and it didn't get you so crazy, correct?
No, didn't get me crazy at all.
Right, and who did that help?
Me.
Yeah, because you didn't have to walk around angry and resentful.
Right.
Right, so forgive her, right? For she knows not what she does. Are you going to forgive her the first time you say that in your own head? Of course not. Of course not. But in time, the more you learn, we talk about acceptance, right? When I'm not in acceptance, I'm not accepting something, a person, a place, a situation that's happening outside of myself that I have absolutely no control over, right? No matter how much I want it to be different, no matter how much I want to manipulate somebody else or something else, it doesn't work. The only thing that I'm responsible for is showing up and doing my best to do my best and understanding that everybody else shows up the way that they do. And when you actually feel that in your heart, today I did my best. What everybody else did was about them, the happier and healthier we're all going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I'm amazed that you said that, but I'm so happy that you brought it up and that you shared that, especially because of who you were sharing about. And I'm really, really proud of you. Just to be able to have the conversation is different for you. It's different for all of us.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So good job, you, man. Congratulations. I'm super happy for you. Can anybody else share about that? Because this is super important. We're talking about when we're worried about what other people think about us, no matter how close we are to that person.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that, and I see because I suppress myself and I don't share what's going on with me, that's when all the anger and the bitterness and the resentment comes, and I get a lot of that at work for whatever reason. But I noticed, like, I was just sharing at work, like, I really don't like that, or that doesn't work for me, and people didn't hate me, and it's like they actually were surprised and they were like, oh, okay. And it wasn't like a personal thing against the person, where before, if I wasn't authentic, I'd start hating them, versus I just don't like how something was set up, or does go to a meeting, or I don't have to put judgment on it. And that was so freeing to not have to worry about what other people are doing. I spend more time worrying about what other people are doing, which prevents me from taking personal responsibility about what I'm doing and what I need to be doing for myself. So that was like a big aha for me this week.
And so we talk about that too, you guys. Super important that you said that. Thank you for saying that. And so when we talk about, I'm going to look at you and everything that you did wrong today, and I'm going to call you out on all of your bullshit, and I'm going to get pissed off, and maybe I'm even going to use today. And all of those things that I do allow me to not look at myself at all, and allow me not to work on myself at all. As long as I'm pointing my finger at you and you and you, I don't have to be looking at me. I don't have to be doing my best to do my best. You know, Laura, I think it was you last time that said, you know, having that attitude, well, you know, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to show you. And if you call, I'm not going to pick up the phone. And you know what? I hope you text me today, because I'm not going to get back with you. And I'm going to tell Haiti, you know what? Kim texted me, and I'm going to show her. And Haiti, you want to play? And blah, 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 blah. And the only person that's getting crazy is you. Right?
So this reminds me of when I put myself in the middle of chaos and other people's chaos and other people's stories, I end up taking some of that stuff on. So all of a sudden it becomes stuff that's happening to me rather than stuff that's just happening. And I find myself either wanting to look good and fix stuff, or whatever my motivation is, which really isn't authentic or honest or helpful or useful to me, that at the end of the day, I'm exhausted and I'm frazzled, and I've been doing all the stuff that I firstly didn't even need to get involved in, and secondly, my perspective of it might be totally wrong as well. And you guys ended up doing whatever you were going to do anyway, because I couldn't control you and I had no power over the outcome, and I just ended up with all this chaos.
Right, and that resentment and that crazy that we take on, again, allows us to look at what's happening outside of ourselves as opposed to taking a look at what's happening inside. Where's my responsibility in that? So, I get angry with Kim because she wore the purple shirt and I told her I didn't like the purple shirt. Where's my responsibility in that? You know, it's not about Kim wearing the purple shirt. It's about me and the way that I'm viewing it, right? And how I'm acting or not acting, and whether I'm talking about it or not talking about it. So remember, again, you guys, I show up, I do my best to do my best. I have no responsibility as far as what everybody else thinks. My responsibility is to me, to show up as authentically as I can, and to do my best to do my best, and that's it. Whether you like me or you don't like me, that's about you. It's not about me. If I come over and I slash your tires and you get pissed off, well, I did something, right? Purposely, hurtfully, to harm you. Are you gonna act or react to that? Yes, of course you are. But if I'm living my life as one human being living their life, doing their best, if you don't like it, that's about you, right? If you react to it, that's about you, not about me. So, right. So when you're not angry and resentful, it helps your day. It helps you to be happy, right? When you're taking that anger and that focus off of something else, it allows you not to walk around with that anger. If you're mad at Jen and she doesn't know that you're mad and you're walking around all indignant and pissed off, and I'll show her and I'm not going to talk to her. And who does she think she don't even know, nor does she probably care. She's living her own life. And so the person that you're hurting is you.
And the funny thing is that I know with me is I have all these conversations in my head. I've got this whole thing going on of how I'm going to say this and present this, and you're going to respond in this way, and this is how things are going to end up. And I've spent the whole day thinking about it, and sometimes it's a whole week thinking about it. And I talk to you, and either you don't remember what actually happened, which just throws me totally off, or you've got a totally different perspective, and that throws me off. And all I know is that I've been carrying this around for so long that if I would have turned around to you and said, Bonnie, listen, when you did this, it made me feel like this, and we would have spoken about it straight away, it probably would have ended within like 5 minutes. Instead, I ended up carrying it around. So the other day, I'm sitting at lunch with 2 other people, and they inside their heads, and all they're doing is they're thinking about whatever they're thinking about, because we're all so important, and they're sitting there, and no one's having a conversation. I'm trying to have a conversation at the table, and they're just thinking about whatever they're thinking about, and I can't reach them, so I called the waiter over and I started talking to him. So I just find like I can be in the same place where I get so totally disconnected from what's going on, and I turn around and an hour has disappeared because I've been so wrapped up in my own head and with whatever those thoughts were that I missed an hour of time. And sometimes it can be a day, and sometimes it can be a week, and I've just lost time.
Yeah, and you spent that time feeling uggy.
Right.
It's not like you've lost time because you're all happy painting somewhere. You know what I mean? Because you stepped away from a situation and did something nice for yourself. You spent time lost in angry or resentful or aggravated. And that's the time that we lose. And we don't get that time back, you guys. So show up today and do your best to do your best. And again, remember, that's all we're responsible for.
And also you get that transferal of negative energy, you know, so I'm getting discontent and resentful and irritable, and then I come up to the light and someone cuts me off in traffic and I become even more irritable and more discontent, and I arrive at the store and I'm standing in line and I'm going, why did I choose like the longest line? Don't these idiots know what they're doing? And I'm having all these conversations, and I get to the front and I start crapping on the cashier for something. And all of a sudden, she takes it out on the person behind me, and it becomes like this whole transfer of negative energy that I've been sitting in. And that's just such an unhealthy place for me to be.
Yeah, it's an unhealthy place for anybody. And even you just saying all that, it's like, damn. Exactly. So thank you guys. Thanks. Anybody else have anything to say about that? About the how I have absolutely no power over what somebody else is thinking or doing?
I just have one quick thing that came up when you were sharing that, because like I think early on in my recovery when I wasn't strong enough to do a lot of things that I can do now, but I always got hooked on like people's manipulation of the situation, like what it kind of goes back to their stuff, but I didn't realize it was their stuff.
What do you mean people's manipulation of the
Like,
situation? Be a little more clear, just because I want to understand.
Like even just like you know, like food buddies or something. If you're doing well, and they get jealous because you're doing well and they're not, so then like they'll want to pull you into something because they're not there yet, or they don't understand how to have a calm mind, or
You're talking about somebody showing up and giving you a cupcake?
Yeah.
No,
that would
I
be
mean,
it.
let's
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
simple
yeah,
so that we
exactly.
understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then it's like, but you don't look at it as manipulation. You look at they look at it as, oh, this is great, like a reward, or I know better. Like they know better.
And so what's your responsibility there? So I'm your food buddy, and I show up because I've been eating whatever, and I'm miserable, and I show up and I bring you a box of cookies. Are you angry with me?
Now I would say no. I would like, yeah.
Why wouldn't you be angry with me? Because aren't I doing that purposely to try to get you to fail?
One option where they're just stuck in their stuff, so it has nothing to do with them doing that.
Right, it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
How I show up, if I show up with cookies, is about me. It's not about you. If I hope you fail or I hope you're successful, it's not about you. That's about me. Those are my hopes, right? Those are my manipulations. They actually don't have anything to do with you.
Okay.
Right? So I could be doing that to you, or I could be bringing you cookies, or trying to talk to your husband, or, whatever I'm doing is about me, you guys. It's not about you. And so the more that we can understand that, and you guys, I'm sorry about, I love that you see that bumper sticker that says mean people suck, and it's the truth. Like people are mean around you and you're like, ugh, like it's such a downer. Or we could actually look at them and say, hey, you know what? I bet so-and-so's having a really bad day. And I really hope that they have a better day, and I hope that they can get some happy for themselves. Right? That's up to us. That's about us. The way that I look at you is about me.
So you touch on a topic that is so pertinent in like cookies. No, well, besides the cookies, 'cause that's a whole separate discussion. But I'm around the web a lot in these like bariatric or these weight loss, people who opt for surgery and go for weight loss surgery. So all of a sudden our stomachs are like this big. And many of us are in relationships, either with husbands or families or whatever the story is, and then getting resentful that other people can eat normally because of decisions that we made for our bodies and our health, but resenting them for the stuff that they're doing in front of us. And this is exactly what you're talking about. We make decisions to do whatever we're doing, but because I step into recovery doesn't mean that you are, or that you're ready, or that my husband even needs to, or that becomes me. That's about me and my motivation for doing the stuff that I'm doing, and that's the learning.
And that's okay, to recognize that and say, you know what, right now I feel angry with my husband because he's thin,
he's
eating cookies, and I choose not to. Remember, you guys, we choose not to. We don't gotta do nothing, right? We don't have to not do something. We get to choose not to do something so that we could stay healthier. And for you to be angry or resentful of him, of course, has to do with you. Instead of you saying, they say resentment is counting somebody else's blessings instead of my jealousy, is when I'm counting your blessings instead of my own.
I thought, what did you always say about the poison?
So resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, right? So that poison kills us, doesn't kill the other person. But when we talk about jealousy, I'm jealous of the fact that you can drink on Friday night, and I can't. Well, first of all, I can. I mean, it gets me back into a treatment center in Tennessee, but I can. I mean, it's not like, it's an impossibility. It just has consequences for me if I choose to do it. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose not to do it. So we want to get rid of that I can't thing. My doctor said I can't eat bread no matter what color it is. Well, your doctor said if you eat the bread, no matter what color it is, it's going to touch the dopamine receptor and it's going to trigger your addiction. That's different. And then you have choice, right? We all have our own choices. I have a choice to drink if I want to, right? It's just, what does it look like at the end of my drinking? But it's still, when I say I can't, I'm a victim. When I say I choose not to, I'm empowered. Everybody gets that, right? When I say I can't, it's a poor, pitiful me. I can't do this, and I can't drink on Friday, but you can. Poor me, right? Or I could say, you know what? Today I choose not to drink. And that's about me, and that empowers me in the decisions that I've made that keep me healthier.
Sure.
we're having there's a family wedding in 2 months, and about 4 months ago, I said I choose not to be in an Airbnb with 25 other people who are partying all weekend for this.
Fair enough.
You know. And so my brother was like, oh, since you won't go there, you know, so he was giving me a hard time. Anyway, today,
Wait, finish it. So,
well, he was giving me a hard time, like, well, if you're not going to be in there, then, you know, maybe other people don't want to be in there. I said, it really doesn't matter about other people. I'm just telling you, it's not a good idea for me, and I just choose, okay. So today, the wedding's in 2 months, everything is coming back up again. So my brother sends me a link to a hotel. This is where I'm staying. I was like, well, what happened to us getting an Airbnb that was next door that was smaller for the people who, you know, would prefer to do that? Oh, I don't know, you know. So I ended up calling the bride-to-be and just nicely say, look, I don't know what's going on. My brother's very controlling, you know, I don't want to cause any problems. So she's just like, whatever y'all want to do. I can call the Airbnb person just 2 houses away. It's fine for you and the kids, I mean, my kids, and, you know, and I was just like, it's so much easier. But what he was laying on me was, you wouldn't stay in the big house. You didn't want to be a part of the big party because I don't drink. I choose not to drink.
okay, so let's talk about how we feel instead of what happened.
Right.
So remember we talk about, you know, if I hang up on you and call me and you say
Right.
to me, I can't believe you hung up on me. Well, I can because I just hung up on you.
Right.
Yeah, I got that. If it made you feel bad, or if it made you feel a certain way, you could talk to me about it. So you felt manipulated by your brother.
Always.
Okay,
So
stop
it's-
it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Forgive
saying.
him.
Right.
Forgive him, for he knows not what he does.
Right.
And now I'm so glad that you said that because that's what we're talking about.
Right.
He's the way he is.
Right.
His resentments and his frustrations, you don't have to take them on personally because they're not about you. It's not about you not showing up
Right.
because or not doing something because you chose not to drink.
Right.
It's about the way that he views the world.
Right.
So when he calls and says, well, if you're not going to do this, or blah, 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 and if you say, awesome, thanks so much for sharing, bam, okay,
Right.
right? Don't take it on
Yeah, I
yourself
didn't
because
take the
it's
bait
not
today.
about you. You have some resentment because I
Well-
could see when you're speaking that you have some resentment. That's
Right.
okay.
There was a family wedding 4 years ago that we shared like you know, shared space with him, and I was just like, oh my God, you know. And so this time, I know it's going to be different because I know what happened last time, and I know how I'll behave differently as far as, you know, not taking the bait from him.
Right.
So-
And remember that your responsibility isn't to dance with him.
Right.
Right? I'm going to put my hand out and ask you to dance. I'm all full of chaos.
Right.
And I'm going to ask you to do the chaos dance with me. You could take my hand, right? Or you could say, thanks for sharing, Felice. And you
Right.
could do your own thing.
Right.
Right? That part is the part that's up to you. But if I'm crazy and I'm acting all crazy and upset and whatever, again, that's not about you. That's about me, my own chaos, and my own crazies.
Right.
Right.
And you mentioned something so pertinent to me. You know, for most of us, well, for me, speaking about myself, is when I came into the rooms, I'd done enough research. So I'd done enough of the same thing over and over again, be it in the things I was picking up and using, or in the behaviors and reactions that I had to certain people in my life. And I've been doing the same dance and the same thing over and over again, that it reached a point that something had to change. So if I choose not to step into that realm, and I choose not to always be right, which is really my go-to thing, if I step away from being right and looking at being happy, then it doesn't really matter so much what they are doing, because they're going to do whatever they're
Right.
doing anyway.
Yeah.
But the only person who really seems to shift the paradigm for is me. And that's my primary goal at this stage.
Right.
You know, and I also understand, you know, in the beginning when we first step into recovery, that when we first start, especially as a food addict, you know, for me stepping in, it became that whole thing is, I can't have this, and I viewed recovery as another diet. Like it was something that was imposed and I had to do because I had bariatric surgery. So my life really did change. I could have looked for shortcutting it and other routes to do what I was doing before, expecting different results. But having done what I did, I knew what the outcome was. So the big thing was really, at which point do we really say, this is enough? Am I willing and open to learn something new? Because if we keep doing the same thinking and the same actions, then all we're doing really is complaining all the time, and we're stuck where we are. We're just stuck in being in that same place and kind of treading water. At which point does it change? So when you're first new in the rooms and you're just starting to do the food side of it, we feel like we're being punished until we start realizing, and that dopamine receptor, as you always talk about, clears up, and that obsession gets lifted, and we're not walking and going around according to our cravings and those obsessions. Things shift. You know, I don't think about food and using all the time. I mean, I may have fleeting thoughts, but it's not something that my whole day is absorbed around, and that's all that I'm thinking of doing. So it does become different as the longer we stay in recovery.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because you know, in the beginning when they used to say the obsession is lifted, and I was like, wow, you know, like I've had a certain amount of time clean, and there's still times when I really want to use. And so the obsession is different than every once in a while feeling like using. The obsession is, you know, when you wake up in the middle of the night or you wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, you know, today and da-da-da, and if this happens, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this happen, and if I do this, and if I don't tell this one, and if I show up here, and if I only eat this, and if I don't do that, that's the obsessive part that keeps our heads in all of that chaos. Are we going to feel like using sometimes? I don't know anybody, you know, and I'll say this, like, I know people that have been clean for 25 years, you know, that'll say every once in a while, like, you know what, I give my left arm right now, man, to have a beer. Okay, that happens, but it doesn't happen 24 hours a day, consistently. It's not like that anymore. It's once in a while, it's a feeling that we have. We remember that feelings aren't facts, just a feeling, right? Frying pan's a frying pan, that's a fact. I feel like using right now, that's a feeling. If I feel like robbing a bank right now, it's a feeling. Doesn't mean that I have to act on it. And it gets a whole lot easier not to act on it once we've had enough time to be clean.
Because we also know what the outcome is. So it might just be putting that substance into our body right now, but I know what that ends up looking like, and it means me wanting more, getting more, and then landing up in my room and not wanting to see anyone or speak to anyone. And I know what it starts looking like because I start beating myself up and I feel guilty and ashamed and demoralized, and I promise myself I'm not going to do it again, and it becomes a whole cycle.
Yeah, and I wind up in
not
rehab
one
in
little
Tennessee.
thing.
That's not a fun place to be, you guys. Tennessee is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Rehab ain't so much fun there, though. So that happens. That happened. So
Thank you for bringing that up.
yeah, that was awesome. And real quick, I'm just going to touch on, I had a question from somebody today about diets, so I'm going to bring it up, you guys. Anything that you're doing, wherever you are right now, if you're here because you want to learn about recovery, that's fine. You know, we have people talking about, you know, they're still using, they're still in active addiction. They want to learn or they want to know about recovery. It's all good. It doesn't matter why you're here. You know, it doesn't matter where you are, if you're abstinent, if you're not abstinent. We don't talk about the food. Sometimes we do for like a couple of minutes or whatever. But we're here to talk about recovery. And wherever you are in your place or whatever it is that you're looking for, you know, like pull up a chair, man, and hang out and see if there's something here that you want to learn about. That's all that this is. You know, Liz, we had talked about responding to others and sometimes feeling like, you know what, I don't feel like doing that. And we talked about our responsibility to others. And again, we're going to remember our responsibility is to show up and do our best, if that's what we choose to do, right? And everybody's in a different place, and that's okay. You guys, our addiction makes every single one of us the same. I don't care what you're addicted to. I don't care where you were born. I don't care how much money you have or what kind of car you drive or if you're single or married or 12 years old or 112 years old. It makes us all the same, right? We get to step into recovery and to find out what our life looks at in recovery. And for me today, I get to define myself as an empowered woman in recovery. And that's my greatest gift, is that I feel empowered right now to make choices that keep me healthy. And for that, I'm forever grateful.
And also, for me, recovery has brought so many gifts as well. You know, in the beginning, it's really hard. I mean, honestly, starting to come to grips, and it's still not easy. It's not like one of those things that you get recovery, you get the gold star, you recovered, and you're done.
Oh, man.
I wish, you know. But it's not like that. It's something that is a process, and as we grow and we learn, things start shifting. And as my focus, as I'm being gifted with being more present and more conscious of things, I'm finding things are shifting in my world, because all of a sudden the things that used to upset me before, and the things that used to be so important to me, which were the physical and the way that I looked on the outside, those things are not as important as how I feel on the inside. Those things of being of service and doing things that really made me grateful and happy every single day, to be able to enjoy those, being present in life and knowing that it's such a gift that today, we're never going to get today in this moment ever again. So it really, recovery brings different gifts and different challenges.
It does. It brings people behind the camera also, and that's okay. So, anybody up there want to share? Anybody hanging out in our waiting room want to share? We should call it the recovery room, not the waiting room.
What?
Right?
The weight is lifted.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. Jen, you want to share? You're muted. You're on mute still. Hi.
There we go.
Much better.
Yay.
What's up, girl?
And so going back to the not letting people get to you thing, just a quick story. So I agreed to go on a date with somebody, and I got there and I waited like maybe a good hour. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go get dinner. So I went and I got dinner, and I went home and I'm like, typed him, said, hey, you know what? It was nice talking to you. I hope you get everything you're looking for and have a great day. And it would have normally in the past bothered the hell out of me. Like it would have like gnawed at me, like, what did I do? What did I say? And I just had that realization that, you know what? It wasn't me. He's just an asshole.
So, and whether, you know what, let's not even make him an asshole. Let's make him, if we're gonna make stuff up, right? We always want to make up something nice, right? Let's say he's scared. Or let's say it's not his time. Or let's say it's whatever. We know that it's not about you, right? Right. Well, how you feel about it is what's about you, right? And so, however, if somebody shows up or they don't show up, that's about them showing up or not showing up, right? And maybe he isn't an asshole. Maybe he's a guy who's going through whatever he's going through today. Right? Maybe we can forgive him, for he knows not what he does. Because when I call him an asshole, it means I'm pissed off and judgmental.
Yeah.
Right? If I forgive him and say, hey, you know what? I hope that he's feeling better and that nice things come his way. And it probably wasn't the right time for me anyway. Right? I could give up that resentment, and I don't have to have that ouch, and I don't have to have that anger.
Yeah.
So, but good job you for not taking it on yourself. That was awesome. Because, you know, we would all, you know, the immediate, the go-to is, he didn't think I was pretty enough, and he didn't think I was skinny enough, and he didn't think I was tall enough, he didn't think my hair was the right color, and he probably thinks I don't know how to type well because I've been typing them back and forth, and maybe he doesn't think I'm educated enough, and blah, 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 and who knows, right? You know, maybe he had to go take care of his mom, you know? So, right? So that was what it was. And you not taking it on is a really big deal. So good for you. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share about that? Yes, ma'am. Hi, Liz. I can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
But okay. So my mom made a comment to me today, or she responded to something that I said to her, and I'll tell you what it is. But in the past, I would have responded differently. I would have taken it, and I'm still looking at it as criticism, but I would have responded a lot differently. I would have been very angry, and it would have caused a big argument between us, but this is how the conversation went. I was talking to her on the phone. I said, hey, Mom, you know, I got on the scale today, and I'm down so many pounds. I'm really excited. And she says, oh, that's great. You know, my coworker at work that had gastric bypass a couple years ago, he got to a certain point where he was afraid he was losing too much weight. I said, well, Mom, you know, I'm still 90 pounds overweight, so I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So it was just that small thing that she said that, I mean, I'm still looking at it like criticism, like, can't you just say something nice and just leave it at that? But I didn't get mad at her, and I just kind of, you know, whatever's going on with her, it's about her. I don't even know what her intention was behind saying that, but it is what it is.
And so Liz, the only part that we could look at is what was your intention by telling her? Because if my intention is, if I say, hey mom, you know what? I lost 6,372 pounds this week. And she says either okay, or that's too much, or that's too little, right? We understand you're just sharing something with her. If you're just sharing with her, whatever she says on her side is what she says on her side. If I'm sharing, if I call up Ange and I say, Ange, I lost my 63,087, pounds, and I'm looking for Anjali to tell me what a great job I'm doing and how awesome I am, and then I'm kind of manipulating because I'm looking for something at the other end. I'm not sharing a story. I'm saying something because I want that pat on the back. Should we be able to want some praise from our parents? Yeah, we should be able to want some praise for our parents. Ideally, all of our parents are going to be wonderful people that grew up in fairy tale land, that when they had us, it came with a book that taught us them exactly how to respond to everything that we ever said. You know what I mean? But they don't, because they're people too. And Liz, for you to say in the past that would have been a big fight and now it's not, that's so important. So good for you, because you do realize that if you had the fight and if you went there, right, you would have been miserable, right? Our indignation and the way that we feel, that makes us miserable. Whether or not she gets pissed off is about her. And anyway, you know what? And if you're doing your best to do your best, then you can look at yourself and say, I'm doing my best to do my best and I'm making great choices. So, Susan, best mom ever, so put your hand behind your back, right? Do your biceps exercises and give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a pat on the back because you've done what's best for you. And in the end, that's what matters, right? If your mom would have said...
I will say that I guess my intention was that I wanted her to be excited for me,
right.
And when she didn't give me what I wanted, I think I was disappointed, but
of course,
at least it wasn't as strong of a reaction as it would have been in the past. So I feel like I've made some improvement.
Well, I think it's a tremendous improvement. I don't think it's just some improvement. I think that it's a really great thing because maybe in the past you would have been upset and been upset for a while and been hurt for a while, and that only hurts you. So when I say to my friend or my mom or my, somebody I'm close with, this is what's happening and it's so great, do I expect as a human being to get something nice back? Well, yeah, I do. And remember, whenever we have those expectations, we set ourselves up, right? And so I understand what my mom's limitations are, right? So right now you understand what your mom's limitations are. Unfortunately, her limitations are about her. Fortunately, they're about her, they're not about you. And you can look at yourself and say, wow, I'm doing my best and I'm doing a great job and I'm proud of me and I'm proud of you. So good for you. I'm not proud of you for losing the 10 pounds because I don't go there. It's like me being proud of me because I have so many days clean. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's great. It's a mile marker. I'm proud of you because today you chose not to stay in hurt and resentment, which hurts yourself. That's the part that I'm super proud of you for. That's about you growing as an empowered woman in recovery. So good for you. That makes me really happy for you.
And part of those learning, I just wanted to jump in here because we do have the workshop coming up on the 25th. Workshop's coming up on the 25th. And part of recovery is the learning, the teaching, being able to learn from other people who have achieved great results is really what it's all about. So anyone who hasn't stepped into the workshop or joined the workshop, it is Saturday in 2 weeks, not this Saturday, the following Saturday, we do a workshop.
Saturday.
2 hours intensive learning, well worth it. We're also giving out, you did the food, the clean eating food plan.
Yeah, we have some suggestions that I share with my patients and I share with other people in our group. And we share, of course, with the people in the workshop because we are gonna learn about, I think that the more educated I am, the easier it is for me to make certain choices. That's just how I am. So I like to know a whole lot about stuff and why. Sometimes I want to know the why about what I'm doing, And so since we're talking about physiology, we do talk about the physiology of the brain and how addicts' brains are different than other people's brains. Just like blue-eyed eyes are different than brown-eyed eyes, right? They're just different. And so we learn a little bit about how our brains work and why they work the way that they do, and why I can't have one shot of tequila. Why my brain has absolutely no idea of what I can do that shot of tequila, but my brain's going to tell me that I need to do 1,001 more, and my brain doesn't know where the stop switch is. And that's just the way that my brain's wired, and that's okay. Makes me different than somebody else, but that's okay. So we do learn about that stuff. So when you sign up for the workshop, you're also going to get those suggestions as well as a little bit of a heads up, so that we'll also be able to talk about that at the workshop.
Yeah, no, we're good. We just got 50. We've actually got like 10 minutes left before. So
Okay, all right. So who wants to go? Jess England, do you want to go? I'm going to call you Jess England. I don't know how to say her name with an English accent, so.
JW and JJ.
Yeah. How are you, Mama? You're muted, so can you talk today? Just shake your head, because I know it's like 1 o'clock in the morning for you, and people are sleeping in your house. And...
Hi.
Hi, Jess.
Hi. Yeah, I found tonight more difficult to listen because it's coming up to 1 o'clock in the morning. But no, no. It's probably just quite overwhelming at the moment, in the very moment. So that's the reason probably why for me I'm probably having a bit of a struggle to take it all in. But I'm sort of listening-ish.
Okay, perfect. If there's anything that you want to share, just raise your hand so that I know.
So I just want to say something. We are on YouTube, just so you know. So anyone who is streaming, we're on YouTube while Wait for Recovery. If you want to catch this session again, we keep our archives of all the videos there. So you can go there, watch it again, see what new stuff resonates with you. Because I know in the beginning it's a lot of stuff. Some things we're open to, some things we're not, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. That's cool, Jess. So thanks for letting us know. So much JJ. What's up, girl?
Hey. I wanted to just share the it's not about you sort of thing. Because I cognitively get it, but I don't always buy into it. Like I can't believe it sometimes.
Gotcha. And so of course, and so listen, we didn't become the way that we were having the reactions that we're having yesterday, right? We didn't learn how to do that yesterday. So whether you're 20 years old or 120 years old, you've still had a whole lot of time and experience learning how to react the way that you react, right? And so we learn.
Yeah.
Right? And time takes time, and we learn, and we hear it again, and we try it out a little bit, and then we forget, and we move back, right? We step back, we step forward. That's all good. That's all part of growth, right? Growth, and pain brings growth and change, and that's okay. So do we expect...
I have times where I'm like, okay, like... Sorry?
No, go ahead.
Oh, you're frozen.
We're frozen? Oh, are we still frozen?
Frozen.
Oh, we can hear you perfectly.
You're good now.
Okay.
I was saying, like the other day or last week when I was dealing with the drama between friends, I immediately was like trying to clear my name with people, like, oh, let them know that this was not me that started this, you know, or spreading this. And I said to one friend, I'm like, would you clear my name with so-and-so, because I feel like he's going to be mad at me. And then I was like, this is so stupid. I literally thought of you, police. I was like, it doesn't matter what he thinks.
No, it doesn't. And you know, and you can always, if you think there's a miscommunication or something, you can always let somebody know, hey, you know, maybe there was a miscommunication. If it's important to you, if the relationship's important to you, you know, if somebody told Angeli that I was the one that slashed her tires, I might want to go up to her and say, hey, baby, like I didn't slash your tires, and I'm, you know, and if you think that's true, okay, but it wasn't me, you know, like I might want to have a conversation about it, or I might want to just let it go and not really care because it doesn't really involve me anyway. So And that's going to depend. But remember how when we had the conversation, it was a while ago, it was you, right, that was talking about, oh no, was it you or Laura? That was talking about you were having dinner somewhere. That was you, right? You were out and you're having dinner and there were some people there and they didn't say hello to you?
That was Laura.
Was it Laura at the other table that didn't say hello to you?
Yeah,
I didn't think it was
that was me.
That was
Oh,
you.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And how you took that personally and it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Right? We even said, like,
Yeah.
you know, you look differently. And so maybe they didn't even recognize you. Right? So, yeah. So are we still going to have, you know, those thoughts and those feelings? Yeah, of course we are. Are we still going to react? Yeah, none of us are self-actualized. So we're probably not going to, Maslow says that none of us are ever going to get there, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to get as close as we possibly can so that spiritually we can be as happy as we can be, right? And that's what that's going to be. So yeah, doesn't just come. We don't just turn on that button, right? Or say, hey, today I'm in recovery. Life is, you know, everybody's farting rainbows. It doesn't happen like that. You know, we're still going to go through our struggles and our trials, and we're going to learn what we learn in our time.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Does anybody want to share with what Jess just said? Okay. All right. We only have a little bit of time, so,
Yeah, so-
10 minutes.
we have 10
And
minutes.
Do you want to say anything to that?
You want to share anything?
No, yeah, I will. I was deciding if I should or shouldn't, but I actually have something that's relevant to share this week, so I will. This reminded me of a thing that happened this week. We're talking about, I guess, having acceptance in situations, and this reminded me of a work thing that happened, and you know, it ended up being a situation where everyone was involved, and I wouldn't say it was the center of it, but it was surrounding something I did or didn't do, and I had no idea. And everyone was like, well, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I seriously had no idea. And when it was all worked out, it just turned out that this other person had this idea in their mind of me, of how I was acting, I guess, and they took that to mean I'm more quiet and I do what I have to do and I don't really socialize too much at work, I just do my job. And so they took my quiet or whatever as having an attitude with them and not wanting to whatever, but we were busy. Long story short, like everybody was like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know, I didn't even know anything was going on, and that's not like me to be oblivious to the chaos, because before I just know what was going on. I was hyper vigilant in all aspects of my life, not so much now. And so the only thing that's changed, I guess, is my recovery that I can look at.
And you did have your moment of
Yes,
ouch,
I
and
did.
you were pissed off,
Yeah.
and you did feel a little indignant.
I don't know that I was pissed off. More so, I was a little hurt. Like, how did that happen for me doing nothing?
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you that I was there and that you seemed angry.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that from an observer
Okay.
and your sponsor, that you seemed angry, and that's okay,
Okay.
right? Remember, anytime we have any negative feelings, they're fear-based. Whether it's anger or resentment or any of that stuff that we're having, they're all based on the same stuff. I'm not getting what I want or losing what I have. Losing what I have, the respect of the other people that I'm working with, right? And it's funny because it was said about you and I.
Yeah, I didn't know.
What? It's all good,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
It was said about you and I, and for me, I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't care. You know, let's go.
Yeah.
And so it didn't bother me at all.
I know.
Not for one little second. I actually thought it was kind of comical.
I know.
Right? And it did bother you. And
Yeah.
again, it wasn't about anything except for the people that were having their own moments with whatever they were living through at that moment. It didn't have anything to do with me, and it didn't have anything to do with you. Right?
Yeah.
And the difference is that in the past, you might have held on to that for 3 weeks.
Yeah, a long time.
And
It
this time
reacted
you,
differently.
right. And this time you held on to it for a little tiny bit of time, talked about it, and let it go.
Right, or I would have felt that I had to change people's opinions about what had happened, and I didn't do any of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't, that didn't even cross my mind this time. Like, I hadn't even thought of doing that. I didn't care what other people thought, I just cared how I looked, which is where I can use some improvement.
Right, because that's still about what other people thought.
Right.
Right. I
Direct-
didn't care what
yeah.
other people thought. I
Yeah.
just cared what other people thought. But good job you for not holding on to it for a really long time. And of giggling about it now instead of still being angry about it now.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks.
Right.
I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to Angelia and to Tony as well, because you guys really have been of service. You step
Thank
into
you.
every meeting. Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thank
service
you.
today, you guys.
You step into meetings, you help us make it happen, and that helps us in our recovery, in our journey as well.
Absolutely. So,
So
thank you so
service
much.
is really one of the things that is so important. Thank you to the West Broward Club as well for this amazing space. We really are grateful. Service helps us shift out of our heads for a little bit. You know, when we are stepping into another realm and doing something for someone else, helps us stop thinking about ourselves for a little bit of time. And for me, it makes me so happy to be able to be of service to other people without expectation.
Right.
Because
Right.
otherwise it's not service. You know?
Right, right. So you're just talking about putting some positive energy out there into the universe and letting it fly, right?
100%.
Because it makes us feel good because we've done our best to do our best. And
Right.
that's it, whether
Would-
it's recognized or not.
Would you like to share something?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you today? I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you. A lot of it is resonating again.
It's hard to be here, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is.
But definitely the taking on what other people think as defining who I am is, and what I create that they think definitely is playing a role today.
So what you create or what you're doing your best to create, right? That manipulation, is that what you're talking about? Just so I understand.
It's more of like, even when I'm trying to do the best that I can, somehow there's like a belief about that I'm not enough or that I'm not doing enough.
In yourself?
Yes.
You mean, okay.
Yes.
I understand.
And I know as the weeks go on, I'll be more comfortable opening up more about detail and stuff. But yes, so it's affecting me currently. But I just hearing everybody else's shares about how, you know, it's not about me. Like it's not, and even being able to share that with in the work that I do, like just being able to share that with the people that I see is like it's a bit empowering just to hear that over and over. So that's all I have.
Yeah, and the most simple way to see that is, so you just said what you said, right? Now I can turn around and think, wow, see, she's enlightened and she's wonderful and she's a gift and she's here and I'm so grateful, right? And Haiti could be like, you know what, she took up our time and I can't believe she talked about that because I talked about that before and you know, that's exactly what I said and I think that she got... We're both listening to you and I'm having my experience and Haiti is having her experience. Neither one of them have anything to do with you.
No,
It's so crazy, right? When you think about it, right? It's got nothing to do with you. So your responsibility is to you, not to making Haiti like you or making me like you or making the world see you as a certain way, right? Your responsibility is to you to show up and do your best and know that that's good and that's all and that it ends there. And I think that is self-actualization. We have to look up Maslow's theory of hierarchy and put some of that out there because that's what we're striving for, right? Is to be self-actualized. And being self-actualized, I think, is more of kind of that Gandhi thing, right? Like good love, forgive them, and you know, I'll do my best to do my best, and the world is actually going to turn the way that it does. And the truth of the matter is, the world is going to turn the way that it does, no matter what we do.
So we kind of running out of time, which is
Thank you.
something that happens. Thank you to
Thanks.
everyone who shared and made
Thanks.
tonight really special. We get together twice a week. Meeting time on Sunday is changing to everybody. It's going to be 9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Sunday, 9:30, we get to sleep a half hour later.
Right, there's also a meditation class after hours here if you're in Davie. So I really suggest who's ever local, come. It's really worth your while. We also get together on Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. No matter where you are in the world, you can join us. You hop online, you can absolutely join us. We also look forward to everyone posting their gratitude list. So within the next week or so, we'll be migrating to our own website, which is login, and it's going to be really, you're going to be able to use your own username that no one knows who
And
you
we're
are.
grateful
because
for that.
Yeah, we are, because people were talking about anonymity, so we're really respectful of that.
So thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Thanks, because it's important
Okay.
because people have been saying that. And if I share, and who's going to find out if I share, and you guys will be able to log on under whatever name you want to.
Yeah.
And so thank you for setting that up, Haiti. I appreciate that. And thanks for working so hard on our website. Thanks, and allowing me to just show up. I love that.
So for anyone who is curious, we Wild Weight for Recovery. You can find us on Facebook. We do have our closed group called What's Eating You. Hop in there, share your gratitudes. It's a great place to hang out.
Yeah, so we're not going to read what we usually read tonight. And so I don't know what we were going to read, but it's okay. We're just going to say goodbye. So I'm going to say that I'm so blessed and grateful for everyone out there for being a part of my recovery. Thank you guys for helping me stay clean. And most importantly, thank you for helping me stay in recovery. Thank you to everybody who shares with us. This was our Why Wait for Recovery Thursday evening community recovery meeting.
And my name's Haiti, and I'm so blessed and grateful really to be here today. It is a gift. And if no one's told you today that they love you, I love you, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Thanks for joining.
Peace out, everybody. Thanks so much.
Everyone.
Thank you. And hold on one sec. I can't talk. We're still on the YouTubes.
On the tubes.
We're still tube.
Yes, wait just on 1 second. Let's just.
And that's okay.
This is a meeting.
Did you know that your signs that you were writing